Okay, so told you today was gonna be busy. I got videos up the wazoo for y'all. Um, so in the group, when I said what's the hardest part about rebuilding yourself after the narcissist, Tina, I love your post by the way. She says everything straight up, no part of it's easy. Okay, yes, accurate. When you're feeling this way and you're feeling overwhelmed with where to start, I would just start with little steps. Just little steps, little by little. When you're having to rebuild yourself and like reclaim your identity and figure out who you are all over again, don't overwhelm yourself. I know it's easier said than done because the narcissist does so much damage, but just start with little stuff. And start with things that you already know, that you still know about yourself. Like if you still have your routine, or if you still have your interests, or if you still have books you like to read, that you were reading, you know, before you met them and everything, and they told you not to be smarter than them, so God forbid you read a book, you know, or whatever, whatever it was. Start with the stuff that you still have about yourself. Stuff you like to wear, stuff you like to eat, places you like to go, things you like to say, phrases you like to use, jokes you like to tell, whatever it is about you that you still have, that you didn't lose. You can start with that as your foundation because you already know that, and stick with that and keep doing that. And then the other stuff about yourself that you need to figure out, you just take it one step at a time and you take it as it comes. You just take it one thing at a time as it comes. If you're feeling overwhelmed and it's more than one thing piling up on you at once, I would say sit down, and if you want, write out a list and just look at everything one by one. And write down a list of everything you're struggling with, everything that doesn't make sense, everything that's hurting you, everything that's confusing you, everything that you feel like you don't have all the answers for. Write it down. Write as much as you need to write, and just look at it. And if you start feeling overwhelmed, put the list away and then just come back to it later. And I would say when you look at the list, when you feel a little bit more under control and you can look at it, you go with whatever your intuition leads you to fix first. You look at a list of stuff you're struggling with. Privacy. You're worried about your privacy. You're worried about telling your story because you don't want to turn people off. You might be worrying about your image, or you might be worrying about your anger from the situation coming up and like bubbling over into other things in your life or other people, or taking out on people who don't deserve it, and you can't control your emotions. You know, whatever it is you're worried about like that, you look at the whole list and take your time and read it slowly and let your brain really take it in, and then just go to the thing that you're naturally led to and just start with that and let your intuition lead the way. Your intuition and your instinct is going to guide you to what needs to be handled first. And you take your sweet time with it. If you need to write down, do a whole new page and write that one thing down at the top and just write down everything you're thinking. If you don't like writing, I would even say if you want, you can do videos like I do and treat it like a diary, and just set your videos to private. And if you want, go back and listen to them later, or you don't have to listen to them at all. Or if you don't even want to record videos, you can just do a live and just talk. In fact, you can take a piece of electric tape and put that black tape across the camera up there and cover it up and go live. Make an anonymous account on TikTok or some shit and go live and just talk. And don't even read the comments. Lay in your bed. Go live on some anonymous account you've created. Put the tape over the phone so nobody can see the camera. Lay the phone down right next to you where you can be heard, and just talk. And just empty out your mind. It doesn't matter. Don't read comments. Don't do nothing. Pretend the phone's not even there. You're just talking to your spirit guides or your relative that died that you were missing and wish you could talk to, or whoever. You know, pick somebody that you're just going to unload with, and just, you know, imagine that person's there and just tell them everything, and just forget about everything else. And just go get in the zone, you know what I mean? And let your mind empty out. And once you empty out like that, you know, you'll be, you might be a little bit more clear-headed. You might feel a little bit lighter. You might feel, you know, that you got something. If nothing else, you got the shit out of your system. Once you say it and it comes out and you hear yourself saying it and you cover everything that comes out, you cover every topic, you cover every feeling that comes out, you voice it. Every single thing that pops in your mind, you voice it. That's what I do when I do my videos. Every single thought I have, I say it. Everyone. That's why my stuff's so crazy. It's like I'm an acquired taste. Some people like my shit, some people don't. But I'm gonna sit here and say exactly what's on my mind. I have nothing to hide. All my shit's public. I just don't. I don't care. Just take it or leave it. You know what I mean? Do that. Be free with yourself like that. And like I say, that's another way to live in the feminine is to have that openness. Be free like that. You know, be free with you're playing in that mode. You're playing with your words, and you're playing with your thoughts, and you're playing with your mind, and you're playing with what you're expressing, and just let it go. You know, let it be. And let it just be and do its own thing and exist. Just let it exist. It's like having cats, and people talk about cats teaching you about the feminine, teaching you about boundaries and stuff like that. The cat just exists. You know, they're just there. They do what they want when they want. They let you know when they're done with you, and you know, and shit like that. You can be that way. And then when you're done talking, you're just done talking. And you don't even have to say anything to anybody. You just turn the live off. You just exit or whatever. And you can do that. I mean, so what? So what? What's people gonna do? You know, find out where you live and come over your fucking doorstep and start asking you dumbass questions? Fuck them. Nobody's gonna do that. But I mean, there's no limits here. There's no limits with expressing yourself here. You want to say something? Fucking say it. That's why you can, if you want. That's why I'm saying, create an anonymous account online where nobody knows who the hell you are, and just do lives. And just talk. And that way, if it's not something you want to go back to, if you're just using it to just like get things out of your system, I don't see anything wrong with that. If you just want to talk just to be heard, because people are going to tune into the live because they're going to see what the deal is, especially if they know the camera's covered up. But you don't have to read any of the damn comments. It's just an idea. It's just something that came to me, so I figured I would say it. Somebody somewhere might benefit from that, so I figured I would just say it. But you know, I mean, whatever it takes for you to get your ideas out, because not everybody wants to sit down and write 10 pages. People say that, you know, have a journal or whatever, but everybody doesn't want to do that. So some people are just better when they just talk. So I think it would be helpful if, you know, you just created a, you know, user 78922 100, you know, whatever, on TikTok or some shit like that, wherever you want to do, whatever you want to do and go live, YouTube, whatever, you can go live on YouTube as well. And just run your mouth until you feel better, and just let yourself process it in your own sweet time. And one thing at a time will come to you, and you deal with it one thing at a time, and you just, every step of the way, you will make progress, because you care enough about it to address it to start with. So you're already halfway there anyway, because you're looking at it, you're like, okay, you know, I gotta rebuild, and that's the first step, and that's the biggest step, because you're acknowledging that, you know, it's time to create the new you. That's huge, and that's a beautiful thing. That's great. That's fantastic. Everybody should hit that point at some point in their life, at least once, you know, to come to a point where you say, you know what, tragedy or not, I gotta, you know, make some improvements. And it's just, I think it's great. You know, that's like I said in the last video, when I was like, you know, in a way, it's almost like you want to thank the narcissist for doing the shit they did, because that forces you to rebuild yourself. But because when you do, you're bigger and better than you've ever been. So it's like it was necessary anyway. It was time. But them tearing you apart forced you to put yourself back together. But you're doing it in ways you've never done it before, because you've learned now, and you're going to be, you know, an all-star after this. And that has to happen. And I want that for everybody. I want everybody to be able to see something that's hurting them that they're doing, or a story that they're telling themselves that's hurting them, and then finally hit a point where they say, you know what, this isn't going to work anymore. I got to do better. Because when you start doing better for yourself, your fucking life gets better. And it's like, why didn't I do this sooner? Because that person had to come at the time they came to show you at that time, you know, what level you were at, and what needed to change. And and like I say, you can keep the parts of you that you like, your hobbies, your interests, your stuff you do in your free time, the way you talk to people, your humor, how you communicate, how you show love, give gifts or whatever. All those things about yourself that you like, you keep that. You don't have to lose that. You want to take that into the next level, to your next level with you, your good habits and stuff? Yeah, hell yeah. Just leave behind the shit that was holding you back, the old mindsets that were holding you back. And the narcissist, for fucking sure, is going to show you what that is. And one of mine, the time I spent with him, for a long time, I sat there and thought, you know what, yeah, I couldn't blah, blah, because he wouldn't let me. And I held on to that for a while, and then for a few years, and then finally I dropped that because I was like, this isn't working anymore. This doesn't feel good. This story isn't helping me anymore. How can I, what do I need to start telling myself that would be more empowering? And that's when things start to change, and you have more insight into yourself. You say, you know what, actually, this is what was really going on, because I get it now, because I was thinking it this way, and the reason I was thinking that way is because I was used to such and such, and I was used to such and such because of my upbringing, and that's why I was like that at that time. But I don't have to be like that now. So they force you, by shattering you, they force you to come back together in ways you never had before. So it's essentially, in the long run, it actually is a good thing. It's just a pain in the ass. But like I say, make your list, or if you want to just, do an anonymous account, cover the damn camera, and just talk, and just empty out your mind. And you can get on there, and it's not like a therapy session where you've only got so much time, because you really only get to talk for like 50 minutes or so, because they have to get you out of there, because the next person's going to be in there on the hour. So each person doesn't actually get an hour. They probably get like 45, 50 minutes. But if you just go live anonymously on some fucking account, there is no time limit. And you don't have to listen to somebody telling you what you need to do or whatever. Just get it off your chest. You need to talk as much as you want. And it doesn't matter what's said. It doesn't matter who listens. As long as you're not talking about like killing yourself or somebody else, like you say what you want. And it's whatever. But that's what I would do if it was me, and I was like really feeling scattered well, I was on Instagram at the time, but at that time you couldn't do like Facebook Live and Instagram Live and shit like that. They didn't have that on there, so I couldn't do so much anonymous stuff, but not like that. But at the time, if I'd had that benefit, I probably would have done that then. But anyway, so yeah, that just be easy on yourself, and just make your list if you want to do that, and just follow your intuition and deal with whatever comes to you of its own accord on its own time, and you'll be fine. Just be open to it, and don't have rules for yourself and shit about what's appropriate or what's acceptable or whatever. No rules about that. We're not doing that. It's whatever. It's anything goes. Because this is you that we're exploring. This is you we're talking about. Exploring yourself. I mean, you'll never stop learning about yourself, because you go on forever. You go on into infinity. So there is no, okay, I'm done learning. I'm ascended. I'm there. One day you will be ascended, but I mean, like, while we're here, on this planet, there is no limit. There's no limit. So because there's no limit, there's no reason to be afraid, because it goes on forever. It's like, it just goes on forever. There's no use in being afraid, you know what I mean? So don't, no shame, no guilt, no self-judgment, none of that stuff. Just take it as it comes. Whatever thoughts come up, you just be like, where'd that come from? And very non-judgmentally explore it. If you can come to yourself, if you can come at yourself with no rules and regs, no, you got to color inside the lines, none of that kind of stuff. Just let it happen. You'll figure it out, because you'll be open to yourself, and you'll be cool with yourself, and enough to be understanding and show yourself some compassion, and that will be, that will guide you. So So however you want to do that, you know, whatever speaks to you. And you don't have to make the list. You don't have to do the anonymous lie or whatever. That's just something I thought of. Sounded good. But however you want to process that is up to you. Those are just some ideas that just like popped into my mind, so I figured I would say it. But you're right. None of it is easy. You know, you're right. So that being the case, don't let yourself get overwhelmed. You take it one step at a time. Just one thing at a time. And you will get there. It takes time, and you got to be patient with yourself. And that's another thing you have to remember when you're being easy on yourself and not being judgmental. Don't give yourself a time limit, shit like this. You know, like, if I don't figure this out in the next year, I don't know what I'm going to do. You know, there is no rules here. So I'm going to leave it at that. I hope that was helpful. And, you know, I hope that helps you not feel as overwhelmed. And, you know, like I say, just, you know, have some compassion for yourself. You know what I mean? Because the self-compassion is like, that's so huge. People don't realize that because they have so many social things that like get in the way in their mind. Like, oh, that's not acceptable. I shouldn't be doing that. I shouldn't be thinking that, blah, blah, blah. But that's the only way to understand yourself. And understanding yourself after the narcissist is the most important part, because we'll never understand them, so fuck that. But knowing yourself, which is the whole point of them coming into our lives to start with, is to help us know ourselves, because it's just set up that way. I mean, they're awful, but the stuff that they put you through, the worse, the more pain you experience with them, the more you can learn. And really, you win in the end, even though at the time they were in control. Yeah, on the surface anyway. But really, really, if you think about it, you're the one who wins, because you grow after that. They don't. They're static. That's their problem. They can't learn shit. And they're always going to be an asshole. You're not. Well, you weren't an asshole before that, but you know what I'm saying. Like, you're gonna look at it, see it for what it really is, and be like, well, shit, you know, I gotta, you know, do better for myself. I gotta be kinder to myself. How do I start doing that? And then then it's just, it's pie after that. It's easy as pie, because you're the one who is learning the lessons and is leveling up, you know, and ascending mentally, emotionally, spiritually, however. So you're the one who wins, because you're the one who comes out doing better. They're never going to do better, you know. So you're the winner. So just keep that in mind. With every struggle, just know that you're the one who's going to come out on top, besides, not the narcissist, because, you know, you're the one that's being put through the motions. But it's because when you rebuild, you're going to be you're just going to shine. And that's the bottom line. So I hope that put things in perspective for you, and I hope that was helpful. And you know, y'all stay active in the group. I love all your comments, all your questions. All this looks really good, so we're going to keep going. And I'm going to go to the next question. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for sticking with me. And I'll get you your next video. All right, thanks.